Frank Mitchell, who did much work on the archaeology of the island, dates other walls, tracks, and buildings on the island with much more certainty. He says these walls in Geocone are prehistoric, possibly late Bronze Age, meaning they could date back to 500 BC, or perhaps even a few hundred years before that. He identified 10 straight walls running towards the sea, with some small walls at right angles creating rectangular fields and other curved walls. In other words, a field system. He also found various structures such as corrals, animal shelters, and perhaps shelters for people as well, and even what might have been a house or two. He also said that there was much more to be found, as bog, grass, gorse, and heather has swallowed up much. Importantly, not all these constructions are from the same time. Rather, walls and constructions from different periods overlap. It is like a mix of pieces from different jigsaw puzzles. The question is how to decipher this. Perhaps it is better not to. Rather, we can look at individual pieces and try to guess what it is. A crude shelter using a natural outcrop of rock, or a remnant of a house due to large rocks which may have been a roof nearby. Mitchell believed that the curved walls were older than the straight ones, conjecturing that there were two prehistoric field systems of different ages. However, it has proved impossible to date them so far. There is a beauty in these wild fields, where once some sort of complex agricultural system existed. In the past, Valentia was heavily forested, but the woods were cut down, in parts of the island more than 2,000 years ago, and the bog grew, slowly swallowing up the stone walls, but also preserving them. Ironically, this helped preserve the area, preserve this system, by ruining it for agriculture. Although the position of the north of Valentia Island, exposed as it is to the extremity of the Atlantic, meant that these areas would never have been good for growing crops. It is interesting to note that while on the slopes of Bray Head, especially the areas facing Port McGee, crop ridges and other evidence of tillage can easily be seen. Here in Cool East and Tinnies, these are absent. There is a history to be told and unravelled here, a silent history on the periphery of Ireland, on the periphery of Europe, on the periphery of history itself. It does not belong to the mainstream account of European prehistory, or also to the more popular history and mythology of Ireland. It is outside the molds, remaking history in a way. It does not fit what is sold as history, mythology, legends. For this reason, it is real history, inconvenient, confusing, messy, but also something wonderful and worth the time taken to put some of the pieces together again. By way of a coda, as Mitchell says, there's still a lot to be found here, as I discovered last time I walked here, when I came across this structure, completely overgrown. What is it? Some sort of shelter or pen? When is it from? The early 20th century? The 19th? Or is it older? The enigmas of stone.